Today we're looking at the 7 levels of RLCS World Champions. The way we're going to do this is basically if there's a big gap between two sections of players, then, we'll put them in, a level above. And we're going to look at the greatness of a player's career as a whole. Looking at their accolades, the events that they've won, so maybe some of the events they got second, and maybe a little bit of a sprinkle on longevity, and very importantly as well, looking at the individual player. Were they the greatest player during their era? Because that has a lot of value. I mean, being one of the greatest or one of the best of your time, that has some value for sure, but being the best, without a doubt, that has massive value. So we'll look at level 1 here, where I only have one player, and that is over 0. So let's start this replay. Keep in mind, this replay is in 2016. Some of these are kind of old, so some of these replays might break. But over 0, why is he in level 1? And why is he the only player in level 1? Well, he only won Worlds. That's his only accolade. He won Season 1 Worlds with Kronovi and Lichinio, but that's it. He didn't qualify for it because he was actually the substitute. He subbed in for this roster. So he didn't win anything to qualify, and then when the team stuck with him for the next season, they relegated out of RLCS, and over 0 never was seen again in the RLCS or even in the RLRS. So yeah, over 0. Sorry, my control almost fell down there. Over 0. Just no other accolades. Only Season 1 Worlds. No other kind of pre-RLCS notable results either. So automatically for me goes into a level 1 alone, because other players simply have more accolades, something else than just the World Championship. Given if you win the World Championship, you are a World Champion, so you do have that. You're still one of the greats regardless, but in terms of this conversation, he's not that great compared to the others. So yeah, unlucky. But yeah, we can go over to level 2. And we'll start with Lichinio, his teammate. His teammate did do a little bit more. We can kind of move towards him as well. There we go. Lichinio, he did make it back to RLCS, when they got relegated afterwards. He did make it back to RLCS in Season 5, just to get relegated again. But he did make it back, so he has some longevity to him. Other than that, he did win one of the regionals in Season 1, because in Season 1 you did have 2 regionals. Might confuse some people because in Season 2 until Season 9 we had league play and playoffs, regionally speaking. But yeah, Season 1 we had 2 regionals, and he won one of them with Gambit and Kronovi. And also won a Rocket Royale, which was a bit of a pre-RLCS event. Not that relevant. Like, the 2 most relevant pre-RLCS events are MLG Pro League and RLC Pro League, I believe they were called. They were pretty massive at the time, because if you won them, you were the best team in the world. Because they were huge events. All the best teams were playing in those. Not a LAN, but it was, international still. And Rocket Royale was as well, but the prize pool was a lot lower. But yeah, to kind of make my point, if you won a Rocket Royale, you knew you were one of the best players in the world. Even though you wouldn't know if you were the best team, you were right up there. So yeah, maybe not the most notable, but for me, these results do separate him from over 0. And he was probably better than over 0 when they were playing together as well. So there's that too. Then my second player, who I definitely have above Lichinio, but I can't make a million tiers, so yeah. But yeah, Greasy Meister. And we can actually go to a different replay for this. Alright, so Greasy Meister. Yeah, he won Season 2 Worlds, but he also got a regional win in Season 1, the second regional in EU, with We Dem Girls, it must have been. Won a couple Rocket Royales, like I just mentioned, about Lichinio. And other than that, he was the #1 seed going into Season 2, so he won Europe as well for Season 2. And that's basically it in terms of, top results. Other than that, he stayed in the RLCS for a really long time. Even in RLCS X, he was in RLCS and making a top 4. So yeah, he definitely has a lot of longevity on top of that as well. But yeah, that'll finish our second level. We can make our third level now as well. And who should we talk about first? Well, I should probably preface that from now on, everyone we talk about is an absolute superstar, right? Whether it's because they were the best of their time. Why am I getting invited? Whether they were the best of their time, or, you know, in the top conversation, like you're one of 3 players best of their time, or just a sheer amount of accolades. You know, you're absolute all-star if you're on, you know, if you're in level 3 or above. And I mention this because I'm going to put Scrub Killer in here. Now, I don't have this ordered. Do not think these levels are ordered. Inside the level, I mean. But yeah, I have Scrub Killer in level 3. He just didn't have that many results as a whole. You know, he won Season 7 Worlds, got 2nd at Season 8. And then that was kind of it, on, you know, in the international stage. Got 2nd at a DreamHack, but really 2nd at a DreamHack, how valuable is that? Not that much, you know, won a regional in 21-22, and that's it. Those are all his results. Given he obviously won EU as well in Season 7, the same season he would win Worlds, but his accolades just don't stack, and I just don't think he was that good that season compared to what a lot of people think. I think a lot of people say that he was the clear best player that season. I don't think so, and I don't even think he was the best player that season, in fact. There were a lot of contenders, and the biggest one I would say was probably Fairy Peak. For me, he was the best player in Season 7. I'm not, like, absolutely sure of that, but what I am sure of is that it definitely wasn't clear who was the best player in the world. So he doesn't really get that extra bit of credit for that. So definitely for me, in level 3. Just doesn't have the, you know, the sheer amount of results that people have above him. Or prolonged periods of being the best, where Script Killer he just doesn't have that. He just simply doesn't have that. And you can't take into account his 2's dominance before he was eligible for RLCS, okay? You don't take that into account, or his 1v1 either. But yeah. Next up, who should we talk about? Marky Duda, I'm gonna say. Marky Duda. I've got him here as well. In fact, he's in this lobby, so perhaps I should switch to him. There we go. Go back a bit. Marky Duda. A lot of people might think that he should be the same tier as Greasy, but those people might not know that Marky Duda won MLG Pro League. I mentioned before, these events, you know, one of 2 events, MLG Pro League and RLC Pro League, were huge pre-RLCS. I'm not going to say that they were an actual Worlds, but they were the online Worlds before RLCS came about. You know that if you won this event, you were the best team in the world. So that is greatness, right? It's not RLCS World's greatness, but it's some level of greatness for sure. Definitely much more valuable than winning a regional, for example, but not as valuable as winning, you know, an RLCS Major, and definitely not RLCS Worlds. So, but that's what I would say about that. So yeah, he's won the MLG Pro League. I'm just gonna look at the biggest results really. He got 2nd at RLC Pro League. Finished 2nd at Season 1 Worlds, then won Season 2 Worlds, and won a DreamHack, the first DreamHack, given it wasn't as valuable as the other DreamHacks, but if you want to compare it, maybe it's similar to a Gnarly. But I would probably say it's still ever so slightly more important, because they did beat Gale Force in the grand final, and we all know how good Gale Force was, soon to be Dignitas then. In Season 5, a couple months later. I don't know how many months, but 6 to 7. That's not the meme. But yeah, it's clearly Marky Duda has a lot of results. And much more than Scrub Killer, for example. So Marky Duda, without a doubt, level 3 for me. And then next up, we have Devo. Yeah, Devo. So he, kind of similar to Scrub Killer, he just had too many of his results early on. You know, he won Season 3 Worlds, but then didn't really do much after that. Won a regional, you know, got 2nd place at Season 2 Worlds, so not that much. But the thing is that makes him so great was the fact that he was unanimously the best player in the world for Season 3. And that does kind of the job and ensures that he is in level 3. Because he didn't really do that much outside of it. But yeah, he was without a doubt the best player in the world. So I don't care that he didn't win any other lands. He definitely goes into level 3 because of his performance during Season 3. So yeah, winning Season 3 Worlds there. And then we can go to the next player, Remco. We'll include Remco here. Remco, like Devo, won Season 3 Worlds. And other than that, won E-League, I believe. Not much else there going on there, but that's 2 lands. And based on the list we've been doing so far, you kind of know that he should be in here based on that. Didn't really do anything else that notable, so, you know, can't go any higher. Wasn't the best player at any point, really. Then I'm going to include Torment and Gimmick. For me, very similar. Got most of their results together, right? And then, you know, Torment got a little bit with V1 afterwards, but that wasn't really a lot. And then Gimmick, I would say overall was probably better on Cloud9. Not but a huge mile, but I think he was slightly better overall. In a very balanced roster, to be fair. Cloud9, a very, very good balanced roster. I know they won, 2 DreamHacks and a Gnarly and World. So that's a lot together, so you might be asking yourself, why are they not in the next tier? But I don't think it's quite enough. I mean, 2 DreamHacks is a bit, it's a fair amount, but it's not that much. When you look at the tier above, I think you'll kind of understand why they're this low. But I had to make sure that they were a tier above, below Squishy, sorry, because Squishy clearly had a better career overall, you know, with NRG and everything like that. So, yeah, there's that. But I could see why some people might have these 2 level 4, but not for me. I mean, look at the list: Scrub Killer, Devo, Marky do that. It's not a bad group to be in. And then I'm gonna have Kernovi here as well. Best player Season 1, probably. So 1 Season 1 Worlds. And other than that, just 1 E-League. Given this E-League was definitely more important than the DreamHacks or Gnarly that Gimmick and Torment won. Because E-League at that time was the same prize pool as Worlds. Not that it was as important as Worlds, but that was a big event. And I would give him some points as well for being the best in Season 1. Gimmick maybe was the best in Season 6, definitely a good top contender for that, but Kernovi I think was definitely a lot more clear in Season 1, so I'd give him more individual points there. And then the last player I'll include here is Redosin. Redosin, a lot of people probably have in level 2, but for me, if you're part of, you know, the most dominant split of all time, it's kind of hard not to be at least level 3, right? I mean, they won 3 regionals out of 3, won a major out of 1, and won the 1 Worlds they competed at, right? At least in that split, I mean. So, yeah, they went on an absolute tear. And when they stopped winning the next season, everyone was surprised, except me, because I'm the GOAT. Just kidding. But yeah, no, it was quite a dominant time where you just expected they would come back, regardless of how badly they would start an event, for example. You would be like, yeah, it's Vitality. They'll come back. And yeah, so I know he had Zen on his team, and that is a special case. It's not just a best player of the world. It is, you know, the best player ever. Like, ever. Yeah, right? Like, it's a very special player, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you still had the most dominant split of all time. So for me, he goes here. And then we can kind of move on to level 4. Level 4, I'm going to start out with Cooksier 97. So there you go. Maybe you'd be surprised that Torment and Gimmick weren't in this tier, but for me, Cooksier is clearly ahead of them. So that's why, you know, I have, you know, Cooksier a tier ahead. But Cooksier, what did he win? Well, he won the MLG Pro League, much like Marky Duda. Got second at RLCS, or RLC Pro League, much like him. Got second at Season 1 Worlds, 1 Season 2, 1 DreamHacks 2017, which is the first DreamHack, again, against Gale Force. 1 WSOE, which is basically just like a DreamHack, I would say, in terms of value. And was the clear best player in Season 2. I think that's an extra step. You know, it's kind of similar as Chronovian Gimmick until you add that clear best in Season 2. Gimmick and Torment don't have that. So that's the thing that really separates them from me, is Cooks here was just without a doubt the best player in the world. Season 2 also has something iconic about him, which was the Cookser pinch. If you're an OG, you might remember the Cookser twist as well, but I imagine most won't get that one. But yeah, he was early on. It was Cookseer against Kronovi, who was the GOAT, and then Cookseer just lasted much longer, and he initially won that conversation. Obviously, Season 3, a new conversation was starting to brew with Turbo Pulsar, K-Dop, Violet Panda dominating. But for a little while there, you know, it was Cookseer who took temporarily the kind of the GOAT victory there, right? So, you know, he was always up there. He was always been up here. Unfortunately, throughout time, he has gone down quite a bit. Only level 4, but level, like I said, all of these guys are superstars, so yeah. Anyways, other than him, I would include Seiko. He won a Modern Worlds. You know, the Modern Worlds, we only have one a year. We used to have 2 every year, so I think that definitely means it's more valuable, and you work the whole season towards qualifying for it. So yeah, Seiko won that. Other than that, I would probably say he has an extended period of being possibly the best period for about a year straight for the entire 2021-22 season. Because, you know, Seiko alone but kind of, you know, ended the dominance of BDS. Regionally speaking, at the major, didn't do that. You know, at the 21-22 fall major, didn't do that because he did come in as a number 1 seed with Endpoint. But keep in mind, he was doing this a bit, you know, disrespectful to his teammates, but basically solo. Like, he was the reason why they were doing so well. Other than that, he's won a bunch of regionals, right? I mean, I'm trying to think. I think he's won 4 regionals. Got second at a major, got second at a Worlds as well, at a Modern Worlds, I should add again. Won a major with Gentlemates. And like I just said, I think he was 1 or 2 for a year straight. Like first or second best player for about a year straight. So maybe third. That's some small periods there, but he was right up there. At least top 3 for a year straight. Which in the old days, a year straight, that's 2 whole seasons. That's season 6 and 7. You think about Scrub Killer, for example. Was he really top 3 for a year straight? I don't know. I'm a lot more confident with Seiko than Scrub Killer, because Scrub Killer had some top competition in like Justin, Garrett G, K-Dop, Fairy Peak, Shaw Set. But Seiko, when he was the best, it was just him or Monkey Moon, and at the end of his time, maybe Vatira as well, right? But pretty much, it was just between them and Seiko. I think he was at the top of that conversation for a notable amount of time, more amount of time than Scrub Killer for sure. So comparing those two, I would definitely give more value for Seiko as a, you know, best player of his time than Scrub Killer personally. But I should move on. I've talked too much about Seiko. I'm gonna add Daniel here as well. NRG, I think, you know, Johnny kind of said it himself. Possibly the best roster of all time. By that I mean the specific 3 players playing with each other. They're right up there, you know, with Gale Force Dignitas, Cloud9, probably above Cloud9, to be honest, surely by now. I haven't really thought about it too much, but it goes to show they're right up there with best rosters of all time, possibly number 1. So, yeah, that's pretty good. You know, won a Gamers 8, I get not that important. But they did win, you know, I said Daniel won Gamers 8. It was a different roster than the NRG G2 one that we're talking about. Won, you know, an incredible amount of regionals. Let me look here. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 NA regionals. I mean, that's a lot more than most people here. I'll kind of rewind so that at least something is playing in the background. Maybe I'll change player. But yeah, countless regionals, won a major, won worlds, got second at a worlds, modern worlds that we're talking about here, by the way. So yeah, Daniel goes into this tier. You know, winning a modern worlds just puts you, you know, far on the list automatically. And I don't think I need to explain how Daniel is better than Redosan. Okay, then I'm gonna have Alpha 54. A part of that, you know, perfect split I mentioned earlier with Redosan and Zen. Other than that, you know, won RLCS X, their European Championship at the end. I get BDS dominated throughout the season, but Alpha won the most important event that season. So that's definitely quite valuable as well. Massive prize pool. Won a large amount of regionals, not as many as Daniel, but won a major, of course, with that perfect split. Won that Worlds, 22-23. And yeah, so for me, never really the clear best player in the world, but he has a very long list of accolades that puts him in this tier. Then, next up, I'm going to include Squishy. Squishy Muffins. Squishy had to be a tier above Gimmick and Torment. So, yeah, I mean, looking at his accolades, it's going to be the same for a lot of it, right? You know, 2 Dream Hacks, a Gnarly, and RLCS Worlds and Old Worlds, of course. Other than that, with NRG, they won a bunch of regionals together and won the RLCSX NA Championship at the end of the season. You know, I mentioned the one from Alpha 54. Well, Squishy won the same one in North America. So yeah, again, massive prize pools. That one's important. Didn't do anything after that, but that definitely separates him quite clearly from his former teammates. Was he ever clearly the best player? I don't really think so, to be honest. He was definitely a top contender. You know, most notably Season 6. But I think he was more of a mechanical, you know, ceiling setter than he was actually ever clearly the best. You know, I'm talking more Season 4 that he kind of set new mechanical standards for everyone. But in terms of actually being the best player around, it's kind of Season 6 where it's close between a lot of players at the top. And that was about it. So he doesn't get a lot of credit from a individual standpoint there for me. And then other than that, I still have a couple players here because this list is absolutely massive. So I'm just gonna go again from the start. Is this oh, this would be patching, right? Yeah, this one isn't broken. But I'm gonna include Fairy Peak here too. I would probably say that this Fairy Peak is probably a little bit lower than everyone else here, I would say, at a first glance, but I would definitely still include Fairy Peak here. Like I said, I thought he was also the best in Season 7, so I'm giving him some credit for that when I know some people wouldn't. But other than that, Season 3 Worlds, 2nd place, right? Yeah. And then Season 7 Worlds victory, K up in Scrub Killer. Season 8 Worlds Grand Final, 2nd place. Then a couple regionals, you know, with Vitality and stuff. And the RLCS European Championship, yeah, that I forgot about that. That one's pretty important. But yeah, I would probably say that definitely separates him from Scrub Killer, that extra European Championship, and I thought he was also better than Scrub Killer at Season 7. So for me, probably the best player in the world in that moment. So yeah, separates him from Scrub Killer and gets himself into level 4, but he's probably near the bottom, together with the next 2 players, to be fair, that I'm going to mention. First will be Exotic. I would put Exotic here too. Exotic, he won obviously a couple of regionals, won a major with Carmine Corp, won an Esports World Cup, and won Worlds. So that's just a lot of lands, right? In Modern Worlds, by the way, I should preface that again. Possibly the most consistently good player on his team throughout that season. if you're going to go for a season MVP of that season, for specifically BDS, I would probably say Exotic, although I would say Drawley definitely won them that World Championship. Throughout the season, Exotic was the best player on their team. I wouldn't say he was the best player of that season, though, so I'm not giving him any credit, actually, for being best player of his time. I'm not giving him any credit for that, but his sheer accolades, I think, still put him just about in his tier. Similar to Extra, I have him here. I was surprised nobody put, on Johnny Boy's top, was it 25 greatest players of all list? I was surprised nobody mentioned Extra. For me, his RLCS dominance and Worlds win, like, he has two separate periods, really, where he was sort of dominating to the world. First you look at RLCS, where they won, like, every single regional, every single major, except for that final EU championship. But for me, like, I get you didn't do that, but the dominance throughout the season was, otherworldly, and has to be taken into account, not just a little bit, but massively. I mean, that's something that I personally will always remember, is the dominance of BDS during RLCS. As someone that watched essentially every regional, it's something it's a period that I will never forget, which shows just how crazy it was at the time. You think of when Cloud9 finally beat Dignitas. That was a very pivotal moment that everyone remembers, and it's the same for me when BDS are finally starting to lose, right, because of people like Seiko and teams like Team Queso finally popping up. And I'm not saying it's the same effect, right? It's not the same degree, because it was just regionally, but given there were no lands at the time, during RLCS there were no lands, so each regional becomes more important in the process, and it's a very very dominant period for BDS, and you can almost guarantee that they were probably the best team in the world at the time. And then you have the second period, where they won a major and won the World Championship, won a couple regionals along the line in that season as well. So for me, Extra, near the bottom of this tier, but definitely above everyone in tier 3, or level 3 rather. So there you go. Extra, I know he was never really the best player on his team, but his sheer accolades say enough. Okay, now finally, let's move on to level 5. I'm gonna include Beast Mode as our first player. I don't actually have that many players in this tier. I thought they were all kind of below the players above, but above the players below. So that kind of sounds stupid, but yeah, Beast Mode. I would say, doesn't really have a long period of being either the best or second best player, maybe third in the world, but I think he does have a little, like, 6-month-ish period where he is either the best or second best player in the world. So he does get some individual credit from me. I'm mostly thinking of, like, the second half-ish of 2024. Or maybe, sorry, no, I'm thinking about the second split of 2024, mainly. And the first split too, to be fair, but especially the second split that I'm thinking of here for Beast Mode. And then outside of that, just actual accolades, a bunch of regionals, like Daniel also won Gamers 8, I get. Some people think it's slightly less than a GMAX, some people think it's less than a regional, so there's definitely a bit of room there. You choose yourself how important you think it is. I don't think it's a big deal, but I think it's important enough to mention. Other than that, a major final, a major win, an RLCS World Championship final, and an RLCS World Championship win. So yeah, a bunch of finals there, major victory, Worlds victory, so that's kind of what you want to see. And like I said, he has that individual credit too. All in all there, considering his regional dominance, I mean, I think he might have even more than Daniel. Let's see here. It's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 regionals. I think that's pretty dominant. With a modern world championship, with a modern world championship final, with a modern major. Sorry, there is no old majors. With a major victory and a major final. I think he's ahead of level 4 for me. So yeah, there you go. Beast mode in level 5. Another player that I have in level 5 is Garrett G. Is it like that? Garrett G. Yeah, he dominated North America for a very long time as well, given different times. So it's not regionals, but, you know, won a DreamHack-like event in Face It X Games, just like DreamHack, essentially. So that was a LAN victory there. He won Summit, so that's 2 LAN victories. He got that RLCS Grand Final appearance in Season 5. And got the Season 8 World victory, right? So the last old Worlds victory ever. That was won by NRG, Garrett G, Justin, and Dribble Pulsar. And with Squishy, got that RLCS X NA Championship as well. Dominated North America kind of that season. And Garrett would also make a major grand final as well, as his kind of last super important result, you could say. Yeah, I would probably guess that he's below Beast Mode, but it's close. I understand why someone would say he's above, but for me, he's probably below Beast Mode. And I'd probably say it for this player too. Justin probably blows Beast Mode, but between the two, I haven't thought about it yet too much in detail, but Justin I'd put in this tier as well. I mean, the results are going to be essentially the same, right, as Garrett G, so I shouldn't even really talk about them. But what I should kind of say is, for Justin, is that he was probably the best player for Season 8, so there's definitely that. You know, Garrett G has a little bit of results before Justin joining Season 5, like Garrett G has, like, you know, NA League Play victory, playoff victory, the Face It LAN that I mentioned before. All of that is before Justin, right, joined NRG. But kind of contradict that, I guess. Not contradict, but it's something that goes in Justin's favor is that during Season 8, he was probably the best player in the world. And outside of that, he has a lot of time spent as a my-speed best player in the world kind of player. You know, you think about Season 5, it basically started then and only ended shortly after Season 8. Season 8, because he won Worlds, it's kind of fair to say that he probably was the best player in the world, but there was a long period where he might have been right up there, like top 3, 4, you know, best player in the world for many, many, many seasons in a row. So, has that kind of going for him as well. So, yeah, I would put all of these players definitely in level 5. Now let's go over to level 6. Okay, for level 6, I've got Zen, right? I've got Zen. For me, I understand his accolades aren't massive, but maybe I should kind of I should explain them. Definitely has a couple regional wins, you know, that perfect split I've mentioned twice now. So a major win, a Worlds win, and a FIFA E World Cup win most recently, right? So he definitely has that. That's relevant. And I would maybe even say that before the FIFA E World Cup win, maybe I would have put him in only level 5. I haven't actually thought about it, but he does have that FIFA E World Cup win and FIFA E World Cup second place too. But I'm not sure that's too relevant. You know, I'd probably say the regionals are more important than the second place of FIFA E World Cup. But FIFA E World Cup first place is probably like a DreamHack in value. So he has that. But most importantly, when he won Worlds, he was by far the best player. And not even by the same margin, I would say, by like with Devo, for example, Season 3, Cookster Season 2. I would probably say it's an even bigger margin. I mean, a lot of people meme on Redosin, but people used to not really meme on Remco or Turbo or even Greasy Meister Season 2 as much as they do on Redosin. I feel like that's probably because Zen was just that good. He was that extra level good, even beyond players that were clearly the best player in the world already. So I think that deserves some kind of recognition more than anyone has ever gotten in terms of individual value. Zen, players that people that don't watch RLCS, they know about Zen because he's just that big. You know, Devo isn't really known by anyone outside of RLCS. And we all talk about how RLCS used to be more popular. Well, why is Zen known by so many people, yet Devo isn't? Well, it's because Zen was just simply that good that some magical attention was going towards Rocket League because Zen was just that good that it's such a big news story that everyone wants to watch Zen. They want to understand how is he so good, and they want to watch the gameplay. Like, they want to watch him annihilate people because he was just that good during that part. Given he was also so good that even after his results started dropping off, you know, people like Drawley were absolutely popping off. People still said that Zen was the best player in the world. So he was so good that even when he was, you know, going out 12th at the World Championship, that people were still saying he was the best player in the world. Now, I'm not saying that they were right, but I am saying that if that does happen, it shows just how much better Zen was than everyone else. For people to still, you know, say he's either the best or second best player in the world, right? So, yeah, I feel like he gets his own, you know, tier of recognition just for that. And even though his accolades are not good enough to be in level 6 because of how good he was individually, I feel like you gotta give him the extra credit, and he goes into level 6 for me. Nothing like I've ever seen before, especially in this day and age where it's much harder to do than back in the day, because how do you break the skill ceiling in 2024, like 2023 rather? How do you do that? Well, I mean, we've only seen it through Zen. You think of other players that have done that, it's all been 2016, 2017, 2018, maybe, right? And then never again. And that's because it's really hard to do. And somehow Zen comes through 2023 and does it. And more than anyone ever has. So, yeah, it's just insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to include Violet Panda in here. Has to go in a tier below his teammates because they have definitely achieved more than he has, but still has done a lot. You know, won Season 4 Worlds, won Season 5 Worlds, got Season 6 Worlds Grand Final, won Gnarly 2, which is a small LAN, smaller than normal DreamHacks, but yeah, has some value for sure still. Then won a DreamHack as well, 2019, Leipzig, and won Season 9 EU playoffs, which is a big deal because Season 9 did not have a LAN, so winning EU shows you're either the best or probably at least second best player in in the world. So that's very relevant too, winning EU in Season 9. And other than that, not really much. I would say he was definitely a top contender as well for being best player in the world for Season 5, together with like Justin. K-Dop is right up there as well, but honestly for Season 5, I think I would give it to Violet Panda on Dignitas. Personally, I know that's a bit of a hot take, but yeah, he is right up there for me for Season 5, so he gets some individual credit there as well. Then next up, I have Drawley. Some people will be a bit surprised by this because he's playing right now, and all of his results have been very recent, more recent than Zen, right? So I got flying about. But Drawley, when you think about it, he's won 2 Esports World Cups, which are slightly less valuable than majors, but they're still very valuable because, I mean, their prize pool is similar to Worlds, right? But, you know, nobody cares about them as much because they're not majors. They're not RLCS majors, right? Don't have RLCS in the name, but in terms of prize pool, they're way more influential than majors. So they're still very important. Not, I'm going to say as much as majors because it doesn't have RLCS in the name, but it's still very important. So yeah, 2 Esports World Cups, a major, and the World Championship. That's massive because Esports World Cup, without a doubt, is more valuable than DreamHacks. So yeah, that is massive. Also, I would say for about a year straight-ish, he was a top 2 player in the world, you know, because of Zen and Beast Mode. And there's a bit of a, struggle with that to say for sure if he was the best or not. But I would definitely say there was a little period in there where I thought he was the best player in the world. So he gets individual credit for that as well. And, won a bunch of regionals as well. He won like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regionals, won Flip and Spin 2024, which is a minor LAN event, EU only. It's kind of similar to Gnarly. I would say probably a bit less even than Gnarly, but it's important enough to mention for sure. So yeah, Drawley there. And then we can watch someone else look at some Redosun gameplay whilst I talk about, I think it's my final player. Let's see here. Yeah, my final player for this tier, it's the NA GOAT, Atomic. NA GOAT definitely doesn't go in the last tier because he's only won 1 Worlds, right? You can't really be in the final tier if you've only won 1 Worlds. At least if you haven't won a large amount of majors, right? Like if you won a bunch of majors, I understand, but Atomic's won 1 major, 1 World Championship, right? Sorry, 2 majors and 1 World Championship, but compared to the people above, it's just still not enough. But yeah, Atomic, he has won a bunch of regionals, starting from RLCS. I can calculate this probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know if I did that correctly, but I think he won 15 regionals, so that's pretty insane. Other than that, I think he got a major final, yeah, with Beast Mode as well, with Beast Mode Daniel, yeah. So yeah. So there you go. Basically 2 majors and a World Championship. Was he ever the best player in the world? Probably not. Was he ever in the conversation? If he was, it was probably during the COVID era. Because that's kind of the time he really came up to be a top player. But I don't know. He didn't really dominate with his team at the time, and he had a pretty good team as well. So it's hard to say really, but yeah, for me, he was never really a top 3 player in the world. So he doesn't get any individual credit from me, but his accolades speak for themselves, right? So definitely the NA GOAT for me. Okay, then we have our final tier, Monkey Moon. I'll just put all of them here. Monkey Moon. Oh, I should do it like that. Turbo Pulsar, again, no order, by the way. Turbo Pulsar and K-Dop. Yeah, these 3 are clearly the top 3. It's like so apparent. There's no real need to almost discuss it because, yeah, I mean, I'll list some of the results. For Monkey Moon, his most notable results are winning the Fall Major, winning the 21-22 World Championship, winning another World Championship in 2024. Yeah, those are definitely his top ones. Then 2nd place as well at a World Championship. So 2 World Championship victories, 2nd place at a World Championship, and a major victory. And then a Esports World Cup as well, with Exotic and Jolly. Yeah, I'd say those are all of his biggest results. I should also mention as well the RLCS BDS dominance. That was Monkey Moon. He was probably the best player in the world during that period as well. Yeah, I'd say for that whole year straight, the best player in the world for me. There were no LANs during that period, so I am gonna take away a bit of value for that, but still, for a year straight, best player in the world for me. And then kind of similar to like Seiko, I would say for 21-22, throughout the year, he was a definite top 3 player in the world during that period as well. So he has massive, accolades through, team achievements, but also personal greatness for such a long time, for about 2 years straight, either being the best player or looking like at least a top 3 player. So some would argue he was the best player for 2 years straight, is basically what I'm getting at. Which shows just how great he was. And I don't even want to count how many regionals he won, but I guess I can. I'll include the I'll include the COVID majors as regionals here. By that I mean RLCS majors, not the Sweden major. But regionals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I think he has 13 EU regional victories, which is massive, by the way. This is not an NA regional victory, okay? This is EU regional victories, which is probably slightly more valuable. It kind of depends during what time, but generally, since the Open era, EU's kind of always been on top. So at least during the time he was winning regionals as well, especially. So yeah, there you go. That's Monkey Moon. And Turbo Pulsar, he has 4 World Championships, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, and Season 8. Outside of that, he has a gnarly win, a DreamHack Leipzig win, and a Rocket League Summit win. So he's got 4 World Championships and 3 other lands. So yeah, there you go. Also has some longevity because he was, winning a lot with Envy as well during RLCS. Regionally speaking, not the best team in North America that season, but winning a lot of regionals. So yeah, Turbo, that's Turbo. No individual credit for him, but he was the ultimate, roster creator, the ultimate team player. So yeah, he just has a bunch of accolades because of it. And then K-Dop, what does he have here? Let me see. Season 4 World, so 3 World Championships, Season 4, Season 5, and Season 7. And outside of that, he has, just like Turbo, and Gnarly. Nothing else really like that, until he has the RLCS European Championship that he won with Alpha and Fairy Peak. Which, again, it was the highest prize pool event during RLCS by quite a margin, so that one is definitely an important one to win. And there were no lands, so European Championship, very, very important. So there we go. And then I would also say, for me, K-Dop, clear best player in the world in Season 4. So he gets that individual credit for Season 4. Like I said earlier, Season 5, maybe, personally, I think Violent Panda was better. Season 5, very unclear for me, so I don't know who to give that to, but K-Dop's definitely up there in contention for Season 5 as well. Like a top 3 player for sure for Season 5. And I think that's about when K-Dop's reign as the best player in the world ended. But yeah, there you go. Those are my 7 levels of RLCS World Champions. Let me know what your biggest disagreements were. And why as well. That'd be interesting to hear. And on top of that, I'd be interested to hear, who do you think is actually the GOAT of Rocket League? I'm not going to share my opinion on that today. But yeah, let me know. Monkey Moon, Turbo Pulse, or K-Dop? Or do you think I've missed out somebody that should have been in level 7 that is actually the GOAT? So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.